What's up, guys? It's Rob with some guy named Rob, and today we're going to talk about something that's a little uncomfortable. We're going to talk about booking rejection. I know, it happens, right? You see, here's the problem. We, um, sometimes we're not a good fit. Sometimes we call a place up and uh, they don't do the same kind of music that we do. Okay, now rejection like that, just take that as a learning tool. You shouldn't have honestly tried to call a place up that plays reggae music whenever you don't play any reggae music. So that's sort of one of go back to the step one of booking. Know the audience you're trying to put yourself in front of. And don't just say, hey, this is a cool place to play. A lot of people show up. I think I could do a good job. Because I've done that before and it doesn't work. For example, I don't play country music. Now, I do play a little bit whenever it comes to maybe Johnny Cash or Hank Williams Sr., not Jr. Music that I admire, music that I like, yes, I'll play some of that, but not, not not country the way that most people want country, especially not new country. I don't know anything about that. I just know that it's not my preference. So don't try to set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for success. And by doing that, you're going to cold call places and you're going to say, hey, it's done. We already did that. Okay, go on to this next part. You know the venue and you know its style of music. You've gone to the website and you've seen other people that play the same genre as you, and you're going to go and you're going to contact these people. You know you're a good fit for this venue. You know you are. Okay, but they don't want to book you. Okay, why? Why do they not want to book you? Okay, because that's the first question. I'm being rejected. Why am I being rejected? Okay, so rejection is hard. Musicians, especially singer-songwriters and people that write their own music, they tend to be very sensitive people. And let's be honest, sometimes overly sensitive people. Overly sensitive people. Does it sound like you? Are you overly sensitive? Because honestly, I don't think I am. But my wife says that there are times, especially when it comes to music, that our pride is quicker to be wounded have whenever we have something that is ours, our band, our name, our music, our songs, are perfect fit and yet rejected. Okay, here's how to deal with it. First of all, sometimes it's just preference. There's one person that does the booking, and that one person doesn't like something about what you do. It could be your look, it could be your style, it could be your Facebook post, it could be whatever. It's a job and you didn't get the job. So don't spend a lot of time wasting time lamenting, even if this is the primo place to play and you're like, oh man, I want to play here so bad. So even if it's the primo place to play, it doesn't matter. You know why? I'm going to tell you this. There's a few reasons. One, there's lots of places to play. And I know you're like, well, I live in a small town. That may be true. You can go out of town. As a matter of fact, what I found, the further out of town I get, the more I am respected and revered as a musician that is a professional. And it's the same thing when people come from 200 miles away to our town. Like, oh, they came from Nashville. It doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of people that suck that come from Nashville, but it's the fact that they came from somewhere else. The same thing will be true about you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you live in Alabama. Well, you just went to California. Well, they're from Alabama. Whoa, you need to listen to these guys. It's just it's a marketing technique. The further away you are, and even biblically, Jesus said a prophet is not respected in his hometown. So don't be surprised whenever your hometown place turns you down. Now, why do they turn you down? If it's something legitimate, like you're not good enough, because you haven't practiced enough, because you're not tight enough, because you don't have enough of an audience that they think it's going to be worth their time to pull you in. Because again, have to think about this financially. Venues have to make money, and you are ultimately a object that is going to bring in revenue, or not bring in revenue. It's going to take revenue away. So let's say, for example, they're paying you $500 to be there with a band, which, by the way, is a little wonky, but we'll talk about money a little bit. Depends on where you are. It may not be wonky for some places. But You are playing for $500 and you bring in 10 people, your girlfriend, your parents, and the band's girlfriends and the band's parents. Okay. The venue looks at this, especially if it's a 150, 200 seater venue, as a failure, right? They're not going to book you again. Now, you could put on an amazing show. The music may be tight as can be. I mean, you guys could have practiced 6 months just for this one gig, and you pull it off. Every song is popping, and all your girlfriends are clapping, all your parents are clapping. But what's the one thing that you forgot to do? You forgot to remember who's paying you. The venue is paying you. So here's a little something. Here's a little bit of free advice from Uncle Some Guy Named Rob. And it is, if you don't promote your show, nobody else is going to promote your show. And if nobody comes to your show, you're not going to get called back. That's how it is. So it's up to you and only you. I mean, if there's four people in the band, ideally it's up to them. And you can all say, hey, here's some flyers, hand them out. But you can't guarantee that anybody's going to hand out flyers unless you do it. Now, flyers are kind of old school, but you know what I'm talking about. If you don't create a Facebook page for your event or create I think it's just called an event page for your event, then it's not going to, no one's going to know about it. And even if you do create one, chances are it's not going to get, the algorithm's not going to force that in front of a lot of people, and just unless there's already a lot of people who are already interested. That's how algorithms work. The faster that people start liking it, then the algorithm goes from here to here and it opens up to more people. And if it just gets like 2 or 3 likes, then it gets pushed down and other things get pushed up. That's every algorithm, in whether it's YouTube or whether it's Instagram, any of that stuff. You get a window of opportunity when you first release something to get poof, and then beyond that, it just gets pushed down among the squalor of everybody else. So what does this mean? That means that you are going to promote your venue. Now we're going to talk more about promotion as we go, but because it's an important feature. Remember what I said. If you don't market yourself, nobody else is going to market you. Okay, so in today's modern world where everything's whizzing by us at the speed of us going like that or going like that, then you have to remember people are distracted. It's not their fault that they're not hearing or seeing your music. It's your responsibility as the musician now, that if you want people to hear your music, if you want people to see your music, then you have to promote it. And we're going to talk more about that, like I said. So let's see. How to deal with booking rejection was the initial name of this. The booking rejection, if you come to this place where you're rejected and you're knocked down, you're beat up, get up and do it again. That's my advice to you as a friend. Get up and do it again. Don't necessarily try the same place. You might try the same place 6 months later when you got a bigger following. You might come to them and be like, hey, listen, I know I can fill that place with 100 people because we filled this place over here with 100 people. Then you've got some negotiating power and maybe they'll be more interested in doing it. But if they don't, then they don't. Okay? Move on. There are more places to play. People that are tyrants with booking, eventually one of two things happen. They die, rest in peace, or they get fired and somebody else comes in. And this has happened to me. I used to play this place in Little Rock, and it was a place I loved playing. It was so much fun. And then, boom, the guy who was booking us no longer booked us, and it wasn't him because he quit. He left, and the new guy came in, and the new guy didn't like us. Didn't like us. So I was all like, "Oh man, I know we're a perfect fit for this restaurant. We do fantastic at this place. So, and we make a killing. So I really, really, really want to do this." And nothing, right? So 2 years go by and that guy gets fired. Yeah. And then guess what happens? The next guy who comes in calls me up. And this has happened on more than one place. This next guy calls me up. He's like, man, I remember whenever you used to play here and it was so awesome. I would love for you to come back and here we want to give you this amount of money. That happens more times than you think. So don't be discouraged. Just accept that rejection is part of asking. You know, whether you're asking for a loan, which don't do loans, don't do loans. I mean, if you have to, one thing like a house payment, but don't do like, yeah. Whether or not you're asking for a girl on a date or a boy on a date, or whether you're asking for Any of the stuff that any of the stuff that you ask for, anytime you ask, you run the risk of rejection. Okay? Rejection does not mean the end, especially for us sensitive hearted musicians. Rejection is just another step. If this place doesn't like me, okay, I'm going to try this place. I'm going to try this place. I'm going to try this place. Now, if they're all saying no, then we might need to rethink the strategy. Listen, if you've got some ideas, questions, comments, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Please subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. If you made it this far, you must have found something that I had to say interesting. If you disagree, you can always put that button down below. It's really just a matter of me trying to convey to you things I've learned along the way. These are some things I learned along the way. So I'm Rob, some guy named Rob. Check out my music if you like, and see you next time. Later, taters.